Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi everyone, MS brothers and sisters. I hope everyone's doing well. And I am so happy to be back. This is your host, Ange, for MS Squared. And we're going to be listening to the interview that I had with Miss Joy Taney this past week. So here it goes. I hope you like it. And yeah, let's roll footage. Welcome to MS Squared. And I'm just going to get right into it. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So
my pleasure.
I had a question about when I first did message you, and you had told me that you like to call yourself a millennialist.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was really cool, really cute. So I want to go ahead and sort of ask for you to break that down for me and for listeners, and just what does being a millennialist actually mean to you and for you?
Sure. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that we've been thrown into a chaotic life situation, that everything in the decades preceding, when we're supposed to be so-called adulting, really didn't prepare us for the way things turned out. And I read a lot of Pema Chodron, who's a Buddhist nun who works out of Nova Scotia, but was trained in Tibet. And she talks about relaxing into chaos. And, there's a lot of nihilism has kind of a negative connotation to it, where, a nihilist, well, they're just dark and think about the end of things and how everything is meaningless. And it's like there's another aspect to that particularly in the philosophy that I read and kind of helps center me in my own life struggle, which is the groundlessness of everything can be very freeing, and it can be beautiful. And, if we really are just the results of chaos, and maybe, especially in an increasingly agnostic world, if we're questioning if anything has a purpose, I think it's so incredibly beautiful to be able to create your own purpose. And I feel like that's been one of the defining aspects of my life and my search for my own happiness and to make my life as wonderful as I can within my limitations and playing the hands that I've been dealt, but to create my own purpose and to be able to relax into a very unstable world. And I graduated in 2009 from Savannah College of Art and Design. So right as the recession was at its peak, and suddenly there were all these artists coming out of these amazing schools and, job slots that would only serve maybe 1% of them. And so it was, of course, extremely discouraging, and my disability was at its worst at that time. And to kind of learning how to function in a joyful way. I hate using my name as a as a pun. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's cute. You did that on purpose."
Right. It's pretty awesome.
Really, I feel like there's so much freedom to be able to say that you can bend your reality to your wishes, and that you can really do this positive side, because if we can't find some redeeming aspect of our lives, like how can we bear to live them? The darkness is all around us, and more I see people who recognize that they have to consciously, if not reach for the light, they have to create their own.
Exactly.
And that's really what millennialism is about for me, which is, certainly the generational understanding that, just like my dad lived in the same neighborhood I live in now during the late 60s, early 70s, and he saw this too with the increasing pressures of the changing world and the threat of the bombs that can end everything, and the Vietnam War taking people out of their homes to go fight somewhere that they didn't want to do, and all this stuff, and seeing these people who, the dark aspect of this is leaning more into your vices, which can certainly be dangerous, whether that vice is video games or marijuana or religion or, your community of friends. To lose your balance completely is always going to be dangerous no matter what. But he also described seeing a flourishing of finishing your bucket list, of engaging in any creative pursuit that you ever wanted to do and put off, because there was an understanding then, as it seems like there is now among our generation, that tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And so we have to, whatever, we don't have to earn our place in the society. We don't have to work just to be worthwhile people, and especially with people with disabilities, I think that's a message that we don't often get. We are told that we are the sum of our work is the sum of our work, and that if you're homebound, as I was for a long time, your mobility is limited. If you're in constant pain every day, if the way you communicate isn't convenient for most of the world or whatever, you're told that your worth is lower because you can't contribute to this totally human-made machine.
Right.
And I feel like millennialism is getting away from that and focusing on how to make meaning in your day-to-day and how to make your life wonderful, regardless of whether it has meaning. Absurdity is all about meaninglessness, and it's hilarious. Absurdity is amazing. Like, we have modern Dadaism with all these memes, and and I feel like there will be a lot of people that certainly take millennialism to be a negative thing and to be dark and gloomy. But for every dark and gloomy millennialist I've met, I also know several who are trying to use it to, recreate their entire reality in a way that is personally fulfilling. So that's what millennialism means to me, if you want to bow on it.
That's excellent. I recently was talking to someone about psychological flexibility and how, the way that we perceive our situation, how that really does sometimes hinder us. So I think that saying it is kind of hard. Millennial nihilism is a great alternative to that, and I think it's really awesome. Thank you for breaking that down for me and for us. So I have a question. You mentioned the disorders, and so you have RSD. And that is regional complex dystrophy?
It's known under a few different names. RSD stands for reflex sympathetic dystrophy, but it also falls under the umbrella, as you said, of regional it's also currently known as AMPS, which I don't even know what AMPS stands for.
Okay.
But regional complex pain syndrome is also an umbrella that it falls under. I believe fibromyalgia might also live under that umbrella, as well as a few other disorders that are mostly to do with nerve damage. So what I have is, my nervous damage through injury, illness, and stress throughout my life. It's not really something that is going to heal, but it is something that I can manage with a variety of techniques. As you know, pain management is very individual. So, and unfortunately, our understanding of pain and pain management and our understanding of the nervous system not as comprehensive as our medical systems would like to tell us that it is. So for me, it was a diagnosis of elimination. I was 14, and it started out with daily chronic migraine that I would have to lie on bed or on the couch in the dark all day, every day. I missed a lot of school, and then when I got my wisdom teeth out, it manifested into all over body pain. And all of this is because my nervous system doesn't register pain the way it should. It takes me longer to heal from things than I should, and the pain will be greater and last longer. I have no visible physical symptoms.
Right. It's an invisible illness.
Sorry?
It's like an invisible illness.
It is, yes. But, the pain is real, and the way it's shaped and changed my life is so real. And in the last 5 years, I feel like I've gotten the golden ticket, too, because I finally hit on a combination of pain management and physical therapy that works for me. And it's miraculous to have slowly kind of climbed out of limited mobility, homebound, to go out for 2 hours. To leave the property for 2 hours would generally mean recovering for 2 days afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a knowing, yeah.
Yes, very much so. it's a daily, weekly thing, and trying to help my partner understand that is like the hardest thing lately. So definitely feel that semblance of just bearing it all, and
yeah, and even the people closest to you have still come up in this world, and they have the poison inside of them of our ableist society, where even they accidentally make assumptions or question something, or see you have a good day and assume that that's the expression of your capacities, and it's a bad hand to be dealt, no matter who or where you are.
Right. Yeah. Just gotta keep going, right?
Absolutely.
So being diagnosed so young, you mentioned that it did, having RSD did like sort of shape your personality, shape who you are. You're a millennialist and all that. So what type of methods do you use to combat, in a sense, that when you do have that daily pain and that daily discomfort, and like as you've grown and matured, what new type of therapies for yourself have you learned and acquired?
Well, I'm going to preface this with saying that I'm not going to sound like an expert on anyone's RSD except my own, because a lot of the techniques that I do don't work for others with the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found really worked when I was 17, I went to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which was calling RSD RND, which is reflex neurovascular dystrophy, and they now call it AMPS, and they still have the program. Okay. And did an intensive physical therapy-focused outpatient program for about 3 weeks. And the circumstances in my life at the time were such that I was not able to kind of retain or practice the information that they gave me, and that I benefited from tremendously. My mom started dying pretty soon after I was out of the program. And as you know, with stress exacerbating real pain symptoms, it can just, to have that kind of setback can be really devastating. But when I was 26, I finally put all of the things that I've learned about how to take care of myself and how my individual pain responds into practice, where I started doing almost daily physical therapy, or at least 3 times a week. I smoke. I do not smoke nicotine, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible source of pain management that has been more effective than Percocet, more effective than 10 units, more effective than just about anything else. It's very unfortunate that I and so many people like me and like us could be, have their lives even further devastated by being punished or having it taken away.
Right.
But the physical therapy has been such a huge, important piece of my pain management. And now, even if I'm having a bad pain day like today, I'm still going to go and do some very light exercise. And when I say exercise, that sounds really intimidating, because when I started, it's especially when you have pain, especially when you have a chronic disorder, you're not starting at 0 like some schmuck who's never exercised. You're starting at below 0.
Right.
Where just a few simple leg stretches can wear you out for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. Mm-hmm. Walking. I have one friend who has what I have in Canada, and it was a huge milestone in her life because her RSD is localized to her leg. It was a huge milestone when she was able to make it to the end of her block, and it was we celebrated that, and I congratulated her. But so it's it sounds intimidating to even get started if that is a form of pain management that works for anyone, because it is intimidating and it is incredibly hard. But I started with the physical therapy techniques that I learned from Children's Hospital, and then I branched out. I started walking a lot. I still periodically I run, which is amazing. I never thought I could run as far, as fast, or for as long as I can now. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome. Not a focus about how much I get done on any individual day, because any individual day can look pretty pathetic. But the very gradual change in me and in my life has been incredible. Let's see, I've also done a little weightlifting. Something else that I found has been, when I've started really pursuing my independent art career,
Mm-hmm.
I made the conscious choice to spend about a part-time job's worth of time every week on my like self-maintenance, as
Okay.
if I'm what was it, like a high perform like a fancy car that's like very impractical, or like my dog recently died, so I was like, I'm gonna be my own dog, and like that level of attention and care on, okay, so what is hurting? What can I do for this? Does it need a heating pad? Does it need some icy hot? Do I need to smoke? Do I need to exercise this? Do I need to take a soaking bath? Which is another big part of my self-maintenance, is soaking baths with Epsom salts and trying to create a very mentally relaxing space too, and going to therapy, and really trying to treat the entire system, because my nervous system is so entwined with everything that I really have to approach it from all sides.
Right. I hear you loud and clear, sis. So what you were saying earlier, you mentioned your friend that she has her pain usually localized in her legs.
Yes.
That's, for me, that rings true loud and clear, because with the effect of MS, that's where a lot of my situational loss of nerves, loss of and gaining of pain has been. I recently actually broke my ankle, in September, so it's made things like way more difficult. And I wanted to just go ahead and ask you, where would you say that your pain usually is? You say you take like Epsom baths and you found therapies for soothing. Which parts of yourself do you usually focus on to gain that soothing quality?
My back, my spine, my shoulders, and my neck. Generally, if something's hurting there, because of the nature of my RSD, it will spread. And, if my back is hurting, it might travel into my legs and become sciatica so bad that I can't sleep. If my neck is hurting, it'll turn into a tension headache, and then I can't think or focus, etc. If my shoulders are hurting, I can't do my art.
Right. I watched your episode, and I totally felt everything you were going through, and I'm so happy that you won. That was amazing, because it's really inspirational, for one, and it's just to be able to recognize a part of what you go through on a daily basis, so in your face, and see that you're able to push through it. That was so amazing. And I also want to know what are you doing lately with art? I know you like comic book art.
Yes.
And that you went to school for writing but decided to focus on art, which is awesome. So what are you doing lately with your art? And what can we see new from you?
Well, let's see. What's today? Friday?
Yes.
I guess it's not relevant because your listeners will be listening to it at another day. This
Right.
weekend, though, actually, that whole experience changed my life, and not just with the winnings. I made the choice when because I did major in comics, and I did work as a comic artist and illustrator for a while. But I made the choice that when I was given this platform, I was given a whole new set of skills and publicity thanks to the show, and I decided to parlay that into a new aspect of my art career. So in the last several years, I moved to Philadelphia, and I've been working my butt off on becoming a full-time professional body artist. At this point, I'm just a visual artist that serves the performing arts community throughout the Northeast, which
Nice.
also involves set painting and, like I said, special effects and makeup art and a little bit of costuming and headpiece building and, comics from time to time still. That's my first love. But
you have your hat in a lot of different areas, and I love that. It's constantly going and expanding, and it's amazing. I love your spirit. Sorry, it's just
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Oh, I'm
I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize for that.
That's all right. I love the feedback, and it's like, I think people assume that an artist who maintains a public profile and, replying to all these sweet comments and stuff, like, gets that kind of feedback on a daily basis. But replying to comments is the job. Like, it's to hear someone say something kind about the person is very different and much more positive experience. Even though I need those comments to get my numbers up, but that's playing the algorithm game. So, for instance, this weekend, I will be building a chess piece for a drag performer who's in a competition so that she can do a self-autopsy on stage. So right now I'm working with a lot of silicone and silicone dyes and high-key obsessed with that, and like Prozaid and Platzil Gel 10 and all those things. And then, let's see, on Wednesday the 23rd, I will be one of the featured entertainers for a Yelp Philadelphia event where anyone with a Yelp membership can come celebrate and see what Yelp has in store for 2019, and for their elite reviewers, who are people who leave regular reviews and interact with the platform for a certain amount of time. Let's see, what else do I have on my schedule? I'm just going to go right over to the calendar here. You know what is very significant is that right around the same week, actually, that my episode came on Netflix, I launched a line of merchandise, and that is still ongoing, and I think it's a good time to start getting ready for Valentine's Day or just treat yourself. It's satire merchandise where
that's great.
The Tasty Cake snacks are actually manufactured in Philadelphia, and it's sort of a city local brand, though it's of course nationally known. So I realized that if you change one letter in the logo, it becomes Nasty Cake, and that just changes everything. So if you go to nastycake.com, that's NASTYKAKE.com. I have apparel and accessories available for sale, and once we sell out of those, we'll start branching into other kinds.
Nice.
So right now you can buy tank tops, pins, and patches. Nasty Cake.
Excellent. Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait to check it out and see everything that's there that you're offering. And yeah, you sound so busy.
I mean,
like,
you gotta when
girl. Yes, you're giving me life right now.
Thank you.
Absolute life. And so I encourage everybody who's listening to definitely check out Nasty Cakes, Kakes, right?
It's singular, not plural.
Oh, Nasty Cake?
Yep, Nasty Cake, and it's spelled with a K, so NASTYKAKE.com.
Yes, all right. And wow, you are turning it out. I love it, Joy. Thank you so much for calling in and having this interview today with me. And is there anything else you'd like to just leave us with before
because this is specifically a millennial and disability-focused podcast, I've thought a lot about the messages that our society has sent our generation that have failed us. And I think one of the ones that is applicable to everyone, whether you have a disability or not, is the wrongness of the word strength. And we were taught in our generation and onward that strength is stoicism, and strength is enduring something silently and not asking for help and shutting up about it and just getting through it. But living as a person with a disability, living as people in this world who we were promised one future, and then that was taken away from us and replaced with something that we don't know how we're going to get through it. More and more I'm seeing people come around to strength as other things. Strength as things that we weren't told. Strength as vulnerability. Strength as knowing when to say I need help. Strength as sometimes just getting through the day. I mean,
yes.
If your pain scale is at a 10, just to exist for the next hour at a pain scale 10 is strength. Even if you're sobbing, screaming, crying, twitching through it, that's strength. And I think we really, as millennials and as nihilists and as people with disabilities, I think we can revise our understanding of the word strength to be something much more all-encompassing and much more true than the false definition of strength that we were taught.
Excellent. That is so eloquently and beautifully stated, and just thank you so much for that, because it is nothing but truth and, again, inspiring. You're amazing, Joy, and really, really appreciate you calling in again and for everything that all of the greatness that you've supplied.
My absolute pleasure.
So before we totally sign off, I would like for you to go ahead and share with us your plugs and where we can find your artwork that's coming up. You did mention Nasty Cake. Go ahead and drop your IG and everything.
All right. Well, my IG is my name, Joy Taney. That's spelled Joytaney. One word. The Taney is spelled Taney. So that's Joytaney. I also have a Facebook artist page, which is Joy Taney Artist, and again, that's spelled Joytaney. I have also made posts on both of them recently asking the disabled community that has privately contacted me to come forward and meet each other. As much as I wish I had time to fully establish this kind of community contact myself, I don't. But I'm making an effort to reply to everyone who responds to one of these posts, speaking up and saying, here's who I am, here's what I have, I'm getting through it. There's so many of us out there because so many wonderful people like yourself have contacted me because they saw this and it was their first time really seeing someone like ourselves in media, at least not being some kind of inspiration porn. So, I love hearing from people who have what we have, and if you want to touch base on one of those posts, you're always welcome. I am also a working and traveling artist throughout the Northeast continental U.S. So, that being said, I do client commission photo shoots, as well as performer body art, effects, makeup, etc. If you imagine it and you want to bring it to life, I can probably do that, and I can paint literally anything on literally anything.
Yes, as so portrayed in the episode of Skin Wars Fresh Paint, episode 4.
Yes.
Which is now on Netflix.
It aired as the season finale, for the record.
Nice. Excellent. Well, thank you so much again, and I look forward to being in contact with you, and hopefully everyone else who hears us, visit Joy's Facebook page, and let's get this thing going, because we rock.
Yes, we do.
MS Squared, out.